Football is a lot more than just a game. It's a time capsule of tradition, rules, and several other quirks that have come and gone. From the nail-biting golden goals to heavy leather footballs, which made headers a nightmare, the beautiful game we understand and love today is quite a distance from yesteryears. In this video, we go back in time and find 10 iconic things about football that are now long lost. Which one do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments section below. Now, let's kick off. There is, for instance, the golden goal rule, a sudden death concept of extra time introduced in 1993. Simple in principle, a team scoring in extra time ended the game right there, thus winning. Devised to inject excitement in the knockout stages, since there is an incentive, with the reward for attacking and trying to win greater than the reward for settling for penalties. In reality, the opposite happened. Teams became too cautious, afraid of giving away that one crucial goal. Many matches started to be a no-action defensive battle, with fan frustration growing. Still, a few golden goal moments are etched in history, such as a sublime strike by David Trezeguet in the final of Euro 2000, which sealed victory for France over Italy. Then there was Germany's win in the 1996 Euros, with the historic winner for Oliver Bierhoff. Nice moments notwithstanding, in 2004 it got scrapped to be replaced by full extra time and penalties. Do you think the golden goal should make a return? Goalkeepers had it easy before 1992. If their teammates passed it back to them, they were allowed to pick it up, thus not only destroying momentum, but squandering much-needed time. This rule did bring in some laborious back passes, notably in the pivotal game when teams wanted to preserve a lead. A rule change in 1992, requiring goalkeepers to use their feet on back passes, flipped a switch overnight, when keepers all had to instantly be as good with their feet as with their hands. Goalkeepers such as Manuel Neuer and Ederson have turned such skills into what now we consider the modern sweeper keeper. The rule change became a tactical evolution. Can you imagine today's high-tempo football without this rule? It's highly unimaginable that such a passive tactic once was the norm. Ah, the literal game changer, the football itself. Upon a time, football was all about attack. The 2-3-5 formation, otherwise known as the pyramid, was the order of the day. No more than 2 defenders, 3 midfielders, and as many as 5 forwards. All out attack, all the time, all out against the opponent's goal. This formation dominated the early days of football, especially in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and teams favoured entertainment and high-scoring matches over tactical balance. Once defenses became more coordinated and fitness levels improved, however, the inadequacies of the 2-3-5 was ruthlessly exposed. By the 1950s, the WM and ultimately the 4-4-2 would march in respectively as the quintessential balance between attack and defense became paramount. The pyramid formation speaks to a world when football was a great deal more uncomplicated and anarchy-like, yet finds its place in a modern development with no uncertainty. Imagine a 90-minute match with no substitutions. This was football before 1958. The injury clobbered either battled on or had to leave the pitch, and their team to struggle along with just 9 or 10 men. Without substitutions, this made football physically grueling and sometimes unequal. Stories of outfield players going into the goal after their various keepers had been injured are often legendary, but more often tragic. such as the Italian goalkeeper Gianpiero Combi, who played in a lot of pain in the 1934 World Cup final because of this rule. When finally introduced in 1958, substitutions really revolutionized the game. It gave managers tactical flexibility, while injured players didn't have to go through unnecessary risks. The substitutions increased over time, with 5 now being allowed in many leagues. One must say that it really is unimaginable to think about football without that significant rule change. There was a time when a drawn final didn't mean extra time or penalties, but that the whole match would be replayed. And in this regard, the FA Cup was especially legendary. Among them was the most memorable replay between Leeds United and Chelsea that occurred during the 1970 FA Cup final. The first match had ended 2-2, with the replay going on at Old Trafford. Chelsea won it 2-1. That was a bruising encounter. The matches were so intensive that they have often been referred to as battles rather than games. Then there were the downsides. Where replays added drama and gave teams a second chance, they also disrupted schedules and exhausted players. Modern football, with already packed fixture lists, can no longer accommodate them for finals. Finals today are decided on the day, a change that is probably for the better, even if a little less romantic. If you've ever seen footage of fans crammed into terraces, you'll understand why they're both beloved and controversial. Terraces were the heart of stadiums, creating an electric atmosphere unmatched by today's all-seater arenas. Admittedly, safety concerns after the Hillsborough disaster in 1989 pushed football toward the path of all-seater stadiums. The terraces became considered too dangerous and the time came to an end. In recent years, safe standing sections have begun cropping up, allowing fans to simulate the terracing experience in a somewhat safer setting. Still, the mad energy of old-school terracing remains some kind of treasured memory for so many. There was once a time when all football boots only came in one colour – black. Players wore black because that was all there was, not because that was what looked nice. Everything changed in the 1990s, when brands like Adidas and Nike started having fun with colour. And who can forget David Beckham's white Predators or Ronaldo's golden Mercurials? Nowadays, the boots are a form of self-expression, and players wear everything from neon greens down to their very own customs. While the coloured revolution added panache to the game, there is something eternal about a pair of classic black boots. As a matter of fact, purists say they're due a comeback. What do you think? It has also long supported its tradition of pitch invasion events that include soccer celebrations, wherein fans rush onto the field for an event considered important, such as winning a championship or avoiding relegation. One of the most memorable pitch invasions has to come after Manchester City's dramatic Premier League win back in 2012, whereby Sergio Aguero's last gasp goal ensured the trophy was theirs. The crowd just cascaded onto the pitch in a state of frenzied euphoria, a moment still giving chills to this date. Thankfully, with increased security and heavy fines levied against clubs, pitch invasions are now a rare sight. While pitch invasions were dangerous, it was also a manifestation of raw, unbridled passion, and those kinds of celebrations remain now in the stands rightfully, so it must be said it is also somewhat bittersweet. Before the internet, a program was a football fan's Bible on match day. Most everything was in those little booklets, lineups of teams, player profiles, and often the only way to stay up to date with one's favourite club. These were religiously collected by fans who compiled them into archives of their team's history. Some programs became highly valued as collector's items, especially those from major World Cup finals or historic matches. Today, it seems, most look elsewhere, supplementing their social media, live statistics, and club websites. The programs still come out, but they've turned from a necessity into some form of nostalgic keepsake. To many fans, though, there is simply no substitute for holding a matchday program as you cheer on your team. And there you have it, 10 things that are gone from football forever. It is, of course, fair to say that some of these changes really do show the way the beautiful game keeps changing with the times. But what do you miss the most? Or is there something not on this list you think deserves a mention? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell above for even more football nostalgia. Until next time, keep that game spirit going.